names like that you were sharing on the last
Uh-huh.
time we talked. So
Uh-huh.
I first wanted just to kind of go back over those names and making sure that I have them organized correctly.
All right.
So, you got Mary Douglas, right?
Right.
So then
She married Jackson too now.
say that again.
She was she was married Douglas, then she married Jackson too.
Right. So she married David Jackson. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I
She
just want to make.
married she married yeah,
Hey,
she married my daddy first. She
yeah,
married later.
yes. No, I got you. And so your dad's name was Charlie Douglas, right?
Right.
I got. And so then what I have is so Lavanya Peterson and Julius Williams.
Right.
Those were her parents. Is that correct?
Right. Right.
Okay. And then the other thing that the dad of do you know the dad of Julius Williams or no?
Yeah, Henry Williams.
Henry Williams. Okay, so I got it. So I got it right. So the dad of Julius Williams is Henry Williams. Do you know anything
And
further back
and
than
it,
that?
oh
Or
wait, I don't know no, on him. I don't know no further, but his mother was named Mary Williams,
so you're
but she
saying
was a
say it again?
her. Uh, Henry Williams married a lady named. Her name was Sarah Gray, but then she had a daughter named Mary Williams, which was Henry Williams' wife.
Got it. So Henry Williams was married to Mary Williams.
Henry Williams was right. She was really Mary Gray before,
I got you.
and you want to know what her dad and mama name?
Yeah, do you know that? I don't know.
Rob, Robert Gray and Sarah Gray.
So Robert Gray and Sarah Gray were the parents of Mary Williams.
Right.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to add that in here now, just a second. I'm adding it. I'm just trying to see how far. So Mary Williams' mom was Sarah Gray. I'm just putting it in here. Sarah Gray. And this was all in Lowndes County?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to put that in here. Lowndes. You said Sarah Gray, and then what was the dad's?
Robert.
Robert. Okay, just a second. Have to do an update. I don't know if you can see my screen, but I've been.
Yeah, I see it.
You see it? Okay, hold it. I'm trying to do add a relative. See, they don't have me to add a dead. Um, well, I'll have to figure out why they're not letting me do that. Oh, there it is. Okay, Robert Gray, Sarah Gray, right there.
Right.
Okay, that's cool. Now I know you don't go further.
No,
I know you can't go further back than
I can't go no further back than
that.
that.
So that's good. So that goes all the way back to 1846. So that's a good time frame. And then the other one was on the Lavanya Peterson side. Let me click that.
Right.
So for Lavanya Peterson, I have a Tyler Peterson. Is that right?
Right. Right.
Mamie Peterson. Is that right?
Right. She was a Mamie Thomas first.
Yeah, she was a. And did she have a sister maybe called Mariah Thomas?
Mariah.
Yep,
Mariah.
got it. And then, so their dad was Bayless Thomas, correct?
Yeah.
And then he was married to Henrietta Hunter.
Right.
And then that's about as far back as we can go on that one, correct?
Then, Alfred Hunter was Henrietta daddy.
Oh, okay. So this is accurate. See, they just put this. I didn't know if this was accurate or not. So Alfred Hunter
Yeah.
is for real. That's okay. So that goes all the way
Right,
back to eight.
Alfred Hunter.
Okay.
That Mariah Hunter.
Yeah. So that goes back to
Yeah.
1820. That is pretty good. That's pretty good there. So let's start with let's just start with Mary Douglas. So just share just your memories of just your mom. Could you just do that?
Uh,
Yeah.
well, now I growing up, I didn't see my mama because what happened when I was, I think, 3 or 4. Her
Okay.
and her sister went to New York
Got it.
and left me and my 2 cousins, which was her daughter,
Yeah.
down there with my granddad.
Okay. So let's go then with Lavanya.
So actually, that was my grandmama. That was Mary's mama.
Right. So could you talk maybe either about Lavanya Peterson or Julius Williams?
Let me see. Lavanya Peterson, which was my my grandmother.
Yes.
She had growing up. I'm just telling you how I remember growing up.
That's fine.
I think somewhere around 1950 something, she had her leg amputated.
Right.
And she was in a wheelchair, but she was afraid to walk on crutches.
Okay.
So basically, she didn't go anywhere or do anything.
Right.
She didn't, because my auntie was living, which was my mama's sister, Inez. She was living with her, so she did all the cooking and cleaning and stuff like that.
Was that Inez Williams?
Inez Williams.
Okay.
She became Inez Brown.
Right. I got you.
Now my granddad, Julius Williams.
Yes.
Now I had more contact with him than I did with my grandmother because of her leg amputation.
Right.
He did all the cooking. He cooked every morning, and he didn't cook during anything else other than morning.
I get you.
Hold on.
Okay.
I don't know. That's somebody trying to call me. I ain't finna answer. Let me see who it might have was. I ain't gonna worry about it. But I can remember him cooking every morning. But I didn't live with him now.
Okay.
I lived with my great grandmother, Mamie Peterson, which was Lavanya mama.
Got it. Okay.
And I would come to his house every morning to eat breakfast.
I get you.
And he would cook. And I remember what he used to cook. He used to cook biscuits, grits, eggs, and ham.
I get it.
And he used to cook the biscuit from scratch. You know, he used to make it up, roll it out, cut the biscuit out, and do all of that.
Yes.
And he was he liked to hunt and fish, and he would take me and my cousin Julia. We would go. If Phyllis didn't go fishing, he used to take us fishing during the summer when fishing season. Every Saturday we used to go fishing somewhere.
Right. Right.
And he used to play horseshoes with us. And I mean, that's the first time older people did not contact with children back then.
Okay.
But he played horseshoes with us.
Right.
And like I said, but I didn't. He whipped me 2 times. I remember getting a whipping 2 times from him.
Oh no.
And them the whippings I always remember. I ain't remember no whipping my grandmama gave me or my great grandmama, but his whipping I remember.
Oh my.
And I remember one of them exactly. When I used to stay up to his house after I get out of school until in the late afternoon, and then I go down to my great grandmama's house. and Phyllis and Julie used to run behind me and run me out the yard. And there was a road by there with gravel in it, and I would pick up gravel and stuff. And he told me his boy was gonna hit me in the face one day and break my glasses. And
Oh.
sure enough, one day I picked up a handful of rock. When I turned loose, he walked around the corner of the house, hit him right in the face.
Ooh.
He said, "Come here," and I ain't run. I went to him, and I got one of them killings.
Oh man.
I remember that whipping. But other than that, like I say, he didn't do much farming. He did very little farming. He raised more hay, Johnson grass than he raised anything else. But other than that, I don't know what else you want me to tell you.
No, that's cool.
You tell you. Okay.
That's good. And then for what do you remember about Mamie Peterson, if anything?
That's my great grandmama. That's who I was with.
Okay.
I slept at her house. I did everything at her house when she was living. And on Sundays, we would go to church, and we would walk everywhere we went. We know we had to walk.
Yes.
And I would walk to church with her, and she wouldn't wear no shoes she wouldn't put her shoes on until she got to church. She
Right.
walked with no shoes on to church, and you talking about walking 3 or 4 miles.
Right.
And then we would go after church. We would go do a lot of visiting, like her sister and her brother and stuff like that. And a lot of old folk. I got to meet a lot of older folk than my other cousin didn't, because I went with her and she did all the visiting.
Right.
And I don't know nothing else to say. I think she died in 55. I remember the day. I remember just like it was yesterday. I remember that hers had to come all the way from Montgomery. And I remember that hers coming, and somebody told me, said, "Go tell everybody in the neighborhood that she had died," and I did that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So when you're just thinking about, Lowndes County, I like you definitely shared. Are there any other just kind of stories you could share just about growing up in Lowndes County in general? Just things you remember.
Okay, growing up in Lowndes County. Okay.
Yeah.
I can remember. They didn't give us any. They had Lowndes County had 4 or 5 stores then.
Okay.
And when we wanted like candy or cookies or something like that, they didn't give us any money. They would give us an egg, and we'll take the egg to the store, and they would give us candy for the egg. Depending on how many eggs you got, is how much candy you got.
Right.
And really, we wasn't allowed to go to Haynesville. You only went to Haynesville when you go into the store. And that we go to Haynesville, you go to the store, and you go right back home. They tell you come right on back home. And
Right.
that's just the way it. There was certain places in Haynesville I wasn't allowed to go.
Right.
And we had to walk. The school, our school was about 5 miles from where we live, and the white school was less than a mile from where we live.
Right.
And we had to walk past that school and go to Russell, which was a school that I went to growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 2-story wooden building, and I guess I started going there in the 1st grade and went till I got to the 7th grade, because the school burned down when I was in the 7th grade.
Okay.
And then that's when I came to Montgomery and stayed and went to Carver. Haynesville was just thing that you didn't do. Like in Haynesville, I can remember when the Ku Klux paraded up and down the street in Haynesville.
Right.
And like I said, that wasn't something you was afraid of them. Everybody was afraid of them.
Sure.
And they had you was afraid that how young folk now are not afraid to go to jail.
Right.
You afraid to go to jail. They not afraid now, but back then we wasn't no such thing talking about we want to go to jail, how bad you were, because you gonna get your butt whipped just about every night down there.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's I remember where the jail was, and that's some trouble was something my granddad and uncle told you, you gonna stay out of.
Yes.
And like I said, in our neighborhood, I took it, down there where you went at. We had
Oh,
about
yeah.
5 or 6 houses in that little neighborhood, right? It was like a street. They did name it a street after we done left,
Mhm.
but it was a road then. But excuse me. I'm trying to see something else.
You had talked about just maybe fishing or hunting, any of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, we did a lot of fishing and hunting. My granddad used to. My granddad, he the one used to go hunting. My great uncle didn't hunt, but my granddad later to hunt and fish.
Now, who was that? When you say that, who's that?
Julius
Julius.
Williams.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, and he used to. That was Henry Williams' son,
Right.
and he used to hunt. A lot of white people used to come from up here and meet with white people down there, and he used to like the bird hunt, and they would take him, come get him to go bird hunting, and really all he was doing, he wasn't shooting, he was just taking care of the dogs.
Okay.
He had bird dogs then, and he would just take care of the dog. But at one point, he got when the guy was shooting at a bird, it hit one of the shots hit him in the eye and
Right.
put his eye. One of his eyes was out. He had a marble eye, but it was a long time before I knew it wasn't his real eye
Yeah.
because it looked like a real eye. He just take it out at night, and every time he had to go to the doctor, whoever shot it out would take care of all his bills.
Yes.
And like I said, I'm trying to see.
So was
And
Henry Williams? Was that Julius Williams' dad? Henry
yeah,
Williams.
yeah, that was Julius Williams' daddy, and and he looked just like a white guy.
Okay.
And there was a white guy in Hamer, which was a surveyor. And after I done got up and was going to school and was teaching, and this guy was a surveyor, and he used to call the house and tell Tree to tell me to stop by there. He wanted to talk,
Right.
but he wanted to talk about He wanted to talk about Henry Williams. He didn't want to talk about my daddy. He
Right.
wanted to talk about my granddad. Both of them were my granddaddy, but one of them was white. He ain't never talk about him, but he used to talk about my granddaddy dad, Julius Williams' daddy. And he said he spent more time at their house than he spent at his house.
Right.
Cause it was a road that went right from, I guess it was less than a half a mile, that from where he lived to where they live at. And they spent a lot of time at playing at his house.
So do you know, like, so you got Henry Williams, it's Julius Williams' dad. Do you know Henry Williams' dad? Do you know the name of that?
Don't don't know anything about him.
Got it.
Don't know where he came from or what.
Got
Now I heard they somebody say he was a runaway slave and came to Haven and changed his name.
you. Got
Now
you.
that's what I heard. I ain't heard that from him. Now I heard that from other folks.
Right.
And I never thought growing up to ask my aunties where he came from.
Yeah.
Sure. I ain't never thought of that.
Oh yeah. No. I get you. Now I know you like fishing. Where did you get all of that? Just enjoying that from?
What did with him
fishing.
well, Julius Williams used to like to fish. Nobody else in my family fished except him. My great uncle, all them didn't fish, but Julius Williams, his whole family, all his brothers like to fish too.
Okay.
And we used to walk to fishing now. We used to walk 4 and 5 miles to a pond or a creek to fish on Saturdays.
Right.
And it just became, like I said, it just became a part of me.
Yeah.
And I passed it on to Charles. Charles the same way. He loved to go fishing now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. And then, so when you started going to high school in Montgomery, maybe talk a little bit about that.
Okay. And let's see, it was 54. I think it was 54 that the school burned down.
Okay.
And it was in the wintertime. And we used to have a potbelly stove, all the rooms had potbelly stoves in it and used to burn coal and wood.
Yes.
And I remember we was out for recess one day. Everybody used to have recess at the same time.
Hmm.
And I look back. We look back, and the school was on fire, and it burned down. And a lot of kids went to. They set up a lot of schools, and from there in churches, all depending
Okay.
on what neighborhood you lived in.
Right.
But what I did, I think I went to the church that to finish that year out. But then the next year I came to Carver, came
Right.
to stay in Montgomery, and I went to Carver for in '55, I believe '55.
Okay.
I was in the seventh grade. I was in the eighth grade because I had moved to the eighth grade. I went to
Right.
Carver in the eighth grade. When I graduated in Carver, in the ninth grade, I went back to Calhoun, and then we had to walk about 2 miles to catch the bus to drive 15 more miles.
Oh
So
man.
that's how far Calhoun was from Haynesville. About
Wow.
15 miles, yeah. And they used to have buses to go around in each neighborhood and pick up the kids, or it had a stop that the kids used to go to and congregate there and catch the bus. But I stayed at Calhoun, like I said, till '59, and then graduated in '59.
And then what did you do after you graduated?
After I graduated, I came to Montgomery, and I started at Alabama State. I went to Alabama State until 2 years, I believe. I went to Alabama State for 2 years, and then I joined the military after that,
Right.
and I stayed in the military at 65.
Gotcha. And you were stationed overseas and all
I
that?
was stationed. Yeah, I was first stationed, and I took my basic training at Fort Jackson, and then I took my other training. I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, to take radio technician, and then from there I went to Fort Hood, Texas, and I spent I think a year at Fort Hood, and I was in the First Armored Division. Then I got shipped overseas to Germany, and I spent all my time in Germany. Now they didn't. It was artillery, but when I got in Germany, it was air defense.
Okay.
They had Hawk missiles, and that's where I spent all my time at.
And so what
Huh?
was that during? Is that during a Korean?
This was during the Vietnam was
The,
just beginning to start.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't. That's why I didn't go to Vietnam, because they wasn't really shipping anybody over there then.
Right.
But after I got to Germany, that's when they started doing it. And when I got out in '65, that's when they was a whole between '64 and '65. That's when they were doing a lot of fighting.
Yeah.
Uh huh.
I got you. I'm trying to see here I'm just going over these names here to make sure I'm not getting. Let's see. Oh, so hey, talk about this, because I know you're good with your hands, like the auto mechanics, all that kind of stuff. Could you talk a little bit?
I ain't into that. I'm in electronics.
Electronics, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Electronics.
That's my field. Well, I tell you what, when I was growing up, I started messing around with radios and refrigerators and stuff before I even know what I was doing.
Right.
I don't know why, but I was. And I always said the good Lord take care of babies and food. And I wasn't a baby, so I must have been a fool. Because I've got on some high voltage and stuff, and it really didn't kill me, but it sure scared me.
Oh man. Yeah.
And then when I went to the military and it took you take all these tests.
Yeah.
And that's why I got in electronics in the military, because that was some of my highest grade thing. They thought I could fix anything.
Right.
When I was growing up in the country, they thought I could fix anything, but I couldn't. But they didn't know the difference.
But you can fix a lot of things, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't like I said. I don't. Well, I took brick mason too when I went to Calhoun.
Okay, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, I took brick mason, and I went to. We used to have these contests, and I won a statewide contest.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that.
yeah,
What was the
and
statewide contest in?
and brick mason.
Brick Mason. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, after well, I did work with a brick mason once I first got out of high school. I used to work with him when I first got out. The guy was my cousin, and
Hmm.
he was like a contractor,
Right.
and I used to work with him until I started going to Alabama State. But I played football at Calhoun. I played basketball, and I played a little baseball.
Okay.
Uh huh.
Which one
So
was your favorite? Did you have a favorite of the sports?
basketball.
Okay.
Uh,
What did you play?
I,
What position were you playing on?
guard.
Guard. Okay.
At the end of one year, at the end of the year, like just about the end of football season, I broke my arm.
Oh,
Really didn't broke it. I cracked it, and they had to put my arm in a cast. But I
yeah.
still went and played basketball.
Oh man.
Yeah, still played basketball, and I wasn't. I was pretty good. Now I'll tell you that I was pretty good. That's what everybody remember me from when they're at school.
Okay. For the
Uh,
basketball.
and like I say, we didn't have but one coach, and he coached everything. He
Yes.
coached football, basketball, track, baseball, everything. We didn't have but one.
Right. Coached it all.
and 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 he used to get all like for football, he used to get all our equipment, all the used equipment from Alabama State.
Okay.
Because the school didn't have a whole bunch of money.
Right.
And so he was in good with the folks at Alabama State, so he got a lot of stuff from their helmets and pads and stuff like that. But he was a good coach though. The year I graduated, the year he left,
Right.
and he had told us he was gonna lead in.
Okay.
So, yeah, but that's about my sports career.
That's right.
Yeah,
Now, how long have you been in the house you're in now? I know you've been in that house a
50 some
good.
50. I moved out here in 68.
Oh man. Wow.
60 some 50 some years, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a long
Uh-huh. Yep, same house.
same
Only
time.
thing, only thing we did, we had an addition put on.
Right. I remember the
Uh-huh.
addition.
Yeah, but other than that, everything else the same.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that's why I was asking about because I know like you used to when I was growing up, you used to have like a bulldozer, like all
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah. Got a bulldozer still line there, but it ain't running.
I get you.
And we had a cooperation too, but I just dissolved it this
Okay.
year.
Right.
Uh, we used to do a lot of bulldozer work. Well, what happened was my great granddad had some property down there, and his had some nephews that was gonna sell it, and so I got 4 or 5. I think it was four. I got 4 or 5 of us together,
Uh-huh.
and they wanted something like uh 15, 16, $20,000 for it. So I got four guys to put I think $6,000 a piece in it, and then we formed a cooperation,
Right.
and we wound up buying his property, buying his land. Yeah, his land.
Now, which person is that who you bought the land from?
That was Henry Williams'
Ignorant.
property, my
Yeah.
great granddaddy property.
Yes. We're
And
there. Go ahead.
it's right next to the property that we have down there.
Okay.
Uh huh.
I got you. Do you remember just anything? What do you remember? Because just about any local stores that were down in Lowndes County. I know you talked about that a little bit. That you just
Okay.
yeah.
We had one main store. It was Davis Hair, well, I don't know what Mercantile. I think that's what they used to call them. But
Okay.
he had a stove, and him and his wife and his son worked in it, and he had a we used to had a mill house next to it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they call them grist mill or whatever it was, but we used to take all our to get meal. We used to shell our corn and take it up there, and they would grind it up into meal for you.
Okay.
And that was, let's see, one, two. That was about 6 stoves in Hayward
Okay.
at that when I was growing up. And like I say, his stove was about the main stove that because he had the mill house at his stove,
Right.
and they had, like I said, they had a store used to sell shoes, clothes, caskets, everything, hardware. They used to sell. That was right on at the red light. He used to sell everything,
Right.
and they had oh shoot, my dad had a store in there in Hayward.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay. What was?
and I don't know what was the name of, but I hear people telling me about it.
Okay. I get.
And the only people working in the store was his sons and his nephew. They
Yeah.
was the only one who worked in the store. But a lot of black people shopped at his store because I guess he gave he let them got food on stuff on time.
I
You
get you.
get it now, you pay them when you get your money.
Right.
And a lot of folks, that grew up back then, older folks, was along with my dad, who used to tell me about that.
So now,
Uh,
when you talk about your dad, Charlie Douglas, how much interaction did he have with, Julius Williams, Lavanya, all them, like all
oh
that?
yeah, well, they live right across the road from each other.
Okay, gotcha. We'll talk
And,
about that. Then. Go ahead.
well, I don't remember as much,
Okay.
but I remember growing up. I looked in the census, and my mom, Mary, was living with my great grandmother in 1940, I believe.
Okay.
Somewhere she must have married my dad somewhere around the late 30s.
Okay.
Cause I thought one time I found where I was in the house and
Gotcha.
40 something. And she had left her dad's house and moved across the road to my dad's mama house.
I got it.
And
And he was born. Was he born in Lowndes County?
yeah, he had 5 brothers
5 brothers. Gotcha. And where did he pass away?
in Montgomery
In Montgomery.
in my house.
Okay. I got it.
He came back. He came back here in '68, I believe. He had
Okay.
this he had this heart valve problem, and the doctors out there told him to go to Birmingham and get it checked. And when he got to Birmingham, they checked it and said it's been 16 years and we don't see anything change. So they didn't do anything. And finally, some doctor told him he had a valve or something stopped up or something. Anyway, they went in and changed it. He stayed it was about 10 or 12 years before he let him did that.
Got it. So
And
here, can you see the screen I'm at now?
yeah,
So this is him, right?
let me see.
It says Charlie Douglas, age 84, born in about 1916.
Yeah, he was born in 1916.
And then it has you. It has Carolyn Craman, Esther Ann Lewis.
Oh, okay. Let me get you on that. My daddy in '68 he remarried.
Okay.
He remarried this lady here. He didn't get a divorce from my mama until '68. I think it was '68.
Got it.
And
So it has a Claude. It has a Claude Douglas.
Claude he just died last year.
Okay.
Yeah, Claude was 96, I believe, when he died. He
Wow.
was the baby. He was the youngest of them all of that of Hattie Douglas. He was the youngest son. Claude was.
Okay. I'm just adding them in here while I'm here. It has you there. This technology, I tell you, is amazing.
Those that's basically they got his second marriage. That's his second marriage.
Second
Them
marriage.
folks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you.
I only know one of those guys there. That's because he came down here when my daddy was living with me. He came
Okay.
down here to sing.
And it has, so where this has U.S. veterans, was he a veteran?
Yeah,
Okay.
30, I think it's 25 or 30 years.
This has, he was born on May 16th,
You're right, 1916.
16. Okay. And it has, he was World War II, Korean War. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he didn't get out till 65.
Okay.
He got out to serve when I got out.
I got it. Gotcha. And yeah, here it is. This is census. Here it has Mary Douglas.
Yeah.
Make sure.
Okay, see, Mary Douglas and Hattie Douglas was his mama, and Nathan was one of his brothers.
Okay, so this is accurate. So it has married. Okay. Yeah, these records.
Okay, right there they have all them was his brothers there.
Okay, these are all his brothers.
Yeah.
Okay. Put that in there too. But you were saying he basically lived right across the street.
They stayed across it was a highway when you go into Hayneville.
Uh-huh.
When you're on 21, my granddad stayed on one side of 21 and they stayed on the opposite side.
Right.
But you could see one house from the other house. But it was like a quarter of a mile if you're walking straight across.
Right. All right, I'll go back to this a little bit. I'm just gonna see. That'll help. That's good stuff. So why? So here's my question. You see, like you have two S's, right, on your name, and some of them have one S. Like, which one is it?
Supposed to be two S's.
It's supposed to be two. Okay, that's
right.
Good to know.
if you don't tell people when they're writing your name, they'll put one S.
Got it.
So I taught my kids always tell them when they write your name two S's.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That is good.
Now you see that it got my mama name with two S's, got my name with one S.
Yep.
Got my dad's name with one S.
Exactly.
That's how they make the mistake.
Yep.
Back then, when the people take the census, they wasn't that smart.
I get it.
Some of them couldn't read and some of them did, because the way they spell a name, some of the names I see where they spell it, I don't even know whose name it is.
Right.
Yeah. But only white people took census back then. Black folk wasn't taking census.
I get you. So you just kind of whatever that was.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, see, you got two S's there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, now let me tell you something else that happened. And I didn't find out this until I went to Calhoun School.
All right.
On my birth certificate.
All right.
They spell my dad's name Charlie, and they spell my name Charley.
Oh, on the birth certificate.
And not only that, they had it Mac Douglas instead of Douglas.
Oh.
And she had to go down to the health department and get it changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that kind of stuff. You got to get it, I guess, correct.
Yeah.
Got to get it correct.
And you know what I thought was so stupid? Where they had my dad and spell one way and had me spell another way, and they got a junior by my name.
Right. They do.
They weren't too smart. To be a junior, you got to have the name exactly like your dad's name.
That's right. That's right. So this will help me a lot. Like, so I'm gonna go back in here again and just kind of clean all this stuff up. But this is so far, it looks like I'm able to go back. I think this is on the Lavanya Peterson side. Let me click this here.
You know, Lavanya had a brother named Adam,
Yeah, I see that. Adam Peterson right
and
here.
and I believe uh, uh, a young lady stayed with him. I think her name was Celia Peterson, which was Tyler Peterson's daughter.
Okay. See, that came up and I didn't know what that was. So that's Sela.
That was my uncle and grandmama, not my grandmama. That was my granddaddy. I believe that was his sister. Yeah, it had to be his sister.
Okay.
When his daughter was his sister.
Gotcha. But it looks like on the Peterson side, this is able to go back all the way to 1820, which is pretty.
Yeah, cause her dad Alfred was the daddy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a good ways back there. Wow.
Yeah.
That's 200 years. I mean, we're in 2020 now. That's 200 years.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. Wow. So what I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna look at this some more. I may come back just with some more questions and stuff.
Okay.
But this is just helping me kind of get it all organized.
Okay.
And so people will know it.
All right.
I've been sending these interviews also to Sierra too, so she can hear them.
She getting it too.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call her when we hang up. I ain't talked to her in about, I guess, a month.
Oh yeah, please do call her. Give her a ring.
You ain't gonna guess who called me yesterday.
Who?
I was stunned as I could be.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I hadn't talked to Kristen, I don't know when.
Yes.
And I looked on her and it was Kristen Fuller. I said, Craig.
Well, that is a great thing. That is a great thing.
I was so glad to hear her voice though.
Yes.
Yeah, sure was.
It's just amazing because life gets busy and all that stuff, but it's important to just stay in touch. You got to stay in touch.
Yeah. And she said she was gonna, when this pandemic passed, she was gonna get her dad and they were coming down.
That's good. I was thinking back to, because when Kristen and I, not Kristen, but with Sierra and I came back down, yes, with Sierra and I came down there, that I was just thinking back to that because that was like in 2019. And that just seems like such a long time ago and how the world has changed since then.
But it was so amazing though. I was glad to see y'all.
Yes.
And that Sierra had grown up so.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that was a great visit.
And so. I got the pictures that we took.
Yes,
Did you get that little book that they made? They made a photo album and sent me a photo album. All the pictures we took.
I did not. No, that's cool.
Yeah. Sure did.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I have all those pictures and stuff on my phone and just on the online and stuff, so I'm able to access them. I actually printed some out and I have them in my office and stuff at work because those.
Well, let me tell you something. Have you tried to get on MyHeritage?
I have not. No, I haven't.
If you give me your not cell phone, email address.
Yeah.
So I can put you in.
Okay.
And then they would send these notice to you, who birthday and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, I will. I'll text it to you.
And that map, like that, what you going right there, that on there too.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's good. So I'll text that to you. Just my
text me your email address, right?
Yeah.
And I'll put you on there as a member.
Yeah. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
But this is good, and like I said, we'll keep staying in touch. I'm gonna go back over more of this, but it's just helping everybody out to know the family.
Well, keep in touch, and you can call me anytime.
Will
just let me know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
hopefully we can make some type of turn with all this COVID stuff. I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Oh, good. Well, until the good law get ready for it to
That's
pass,
right. That's
it
right.
ain't going nowhere.
That's right. You're right
Yeah,
about that. It's gonna
that's
go
what I.
on
That's the
its
way I
time.
see it. I just try to do what I need to do, and pray that it pass.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Hmm.
All right. Well,
All
we'll
right.
stay in touch and thank you again.
All right, and I'm glad we got in touch with each other.
Yeah,
So you
absolutely.
have a good one now.
Okay, you too.
All right. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.